Computers are great things and are very useful in everyday life, but they create a certain distraction which just overpowers our will to stay away from the computer. What good is technology when the majority of its users use it as a crutch rather than a tool? In our modern day world, computers are absolutely essential. It is impossible to run away from these devices, and we become so dependent on it that we just can't do things on our own now. For example, say you were doing some type of homework and you couldn't figure out the answer. Instead of trying to understand the problem or asking a peer for help, you decide to go on Google, Mathway, Quizlet, etc. to find the answer. Computers have controlled the world in so many ways that it's hard to imagine the world without them. Memorizing is a thing overtaken by time from so many people. People aren't even able to remember their own passport numbers, PIN numbers, or even their phone numbers. Try to imagine a world without Google Maps or GPS navigation systems in general. It's sad that most of us can't even get around our own city without them. I mean, let's face it. It's not like the streets in Orlando changed all that much in the last 50 years. It's just that no one knows how to get around anymore. There are so many aspects in our lives that make dependency on computers inevitable. The attachment takes away from our independent thinking and will remain as such until we learn to become less dependent on computers. According to MIT, it is said that in the next 10 to 20 years, there will be a computer smarter than the whole human race alive today. That is a scary future that we don't have to attest to if we change our habits from now.
It's easy to look at how far technology has come and say that we have become too dependent on computers. There are businesses operated solely online, and ebooks have been replacing the need for printed books as well as textbooks for some years. We now also have computerized GPS, which have made maps obsolete. We use computers in schools more frequently now, but I still wouldn't say that we're too dependent on them. Computers are also used in important cases, such as healthcare. Simple surgical procedures can be done by a surgeon and a computerized machine so that there is minimal scarring and less damage likely to happen. We use computers to make difficult and tedious tasks more simple and more efficient. According to a website called debate.org, multiple people brought up the statement that computers are like any other tool that man has made. Computers were designed to make tasks that could be a hassle more simple and efficient. The same debate arose when the radio came about and television, but now we see the radio is somewhat obsolete, and most people aren't constantly glued to their TVs. Another point that came up on this debate site was that humankind once lived without computers. We've all become used to the use of computers, and the key to not becoming too dependent on them varies on the person and their level of self-control. According to an article I read titled, "Are We Teaching Kids to Be Too Dependent on Technology?" by Julia Deneen, there is more technology being used in classrooms today. However, this technology isn't used to give students the answers to everything, but to reinforce what they have already learned. This keeps the student more interested in the subject as well. In my experience, technology used in the classroom has helped me research material faster and more effectively, as well as using it for the reviews and notes to learn and reinforce a lesson that was taught.